Welcome back. There are lots of single women out there who dream of becoming a mom. It may not be my dream, but it certainly is a thoughtful and valid one. Now, some of them are choosing to wait for just the right partner, even if that means letting their biological clock run out.
Here to talk more about a generation of women placing love before motherhood, please welcome the author of Otherhood, Modern Women Finding a New Kind of Happiness, Melanie Notkin.
I want to ask you, what's the concept of otherhood, and who fits into the otherhood category?
Right now, it's a lot of women. You know, in North America, nearly 50% of women are childless and remain so till the end of their fertile years. It's the Generation X who expected to have the social, economic, and political equality our mothers didn't have when they were born. But, you know, we'd have the husband and kids they did, and yet so many of us, among the most well-educated, most financially secure, wind up single and childless as our fertile years wane, and we're like, what happened?
Do you think any part of that has to do with the idea that it feels like for the last 100 years women have been sold the idea that in order to have a fulfilling life, marriage and kids are part of that equation? And I don't know if it's just me. It's something I've been giving a lot of thought to lately, but I might resent it a bit, I guess. I'm curious to know what you think about that.
Resent what?
The idea that it's this, that in order, the only way that we can have a fulfilling life is if we get married and have kids. That's what gives our lives meaning. And I do think that there are lots of other ways which we can have meaningful, fulfilling, incredibly satisfying lives without marriage and without kids.
Without a doubt. That's true. And the subtitle of the book is Modern Women Finding a New Kind of Happiness, because we can't rely on the expectations for our life, whether it's our own expectations or the expectations of our friends and family, of society, to fulfill our happiness. We have to keep moving forward no matter what that is and be self-aware. But at the same time, it's completely valid to want those things.
Absolutely.
And to want to find love and make the love. and to get married or have partnership and have children with that man, that partner. Yeah.
Well, there does seem to be a bit of a societal assumption that if a woman is in her mid-30s onward and doesn't have kids, it's because she doesn't want to, right?
That is an assumption, and women who do, and by the way, I completely champion any woman who decides it's not for her.
Right.
It's the right decision. But there's this silent majority of women who are in their 30s and 40s who always yearned for children, but the one thing they cannot control is when and how they fall in love. In fact, sometimes they fall in love with the wrong guy.
Okay, well, let's talk about that for a bit. You talk in the book about how a lot of women are facing this sort of unrequited love story, and that they're, you know, that they haven't found the one. But is there some idea, well, first of all, me saying that, like, the one, is this some kind of archaic notion? Are these women being too picky? Basically.
Well, here's the thing. Love is not meant, it's not a gift for those who deserve it. It's a reward for those who wait for it. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer than we hoped, than might work with our biological clock. But whomever we end up with deserves to be loved, and we deserve to love. And about this idea of a fairy tale, you know, the truth is, I don't want a man in tights. I'm not wearing for a Prince Charming. I don't need a man with a horse. You know, we
Very few of us have horses. So that's good. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, and that's, you know, and that's not the expectation. We want a man that wants to live to his potential, wants us to live to our potential, and we have a strong relationship. And by the way, those women who marry later with that great, perfect, right relationship for them, not perfect, and nothing's perfect, actually have stronger marriages that last longer.
Yeah, they marry later on, like in their 30s rather than their...
Well, I think you're just more mature. You're able to make decisions that aren't based on what kind of car he has.
Or a horse.
Yeah, so, that's not a reason. Yeah, that's not a good one.
No.
Now, you describe the women of the Otherhood as the daughters of feminism, but if that's the case, why did women need a partner at all? Because more often than not now, we're seeing women don't need a partner to raise a child.
And that's what feminism is, right? It's the freedom to make choice, and if it's their choice to have a baby on their own, then that's the right choice for them. But really, truly, while we don't need men, we want men. We want to make them.
Thank goodness.
Right?
I was worried, but then you said you want it, so it's good.
We do. I'm a man lover. I love a great date, great man.
Yeah. But, I mean, for men, you know, you talk about looking for somebody who is that Mr. Right to you or for any women out there. But at the same time, I think for men it can be a bit of a confusing time because obviously women are independent, but at the same time, it seems that some women still yearn for that traditional chivalry-based courtship. So how do we walk that line, and do you sympathize with our plight?
I do. It is very confusing. We're all confused. The women are confused too because we are these modern independent women who kind of yearn for old-fashioned romance.
Right.
I asked a lot of women for Otherhood, the book. What turns you on a date? First of all, you got to pick the place, pick the restaurant. We don't care where it is, just pick it. And also, you know what? Walk curbside. We just love a man who does something a little bit chivalrous,
right?
And we want to lean back as he leans in on the date, and you have us.
See, that wouldn't do it for me. I have to say, but I appreciate that. I think there are lots of women. I think that there is this idea out there that it's when we get into these kind of traditional gender roles, and it wouldn't be suitable for me necessarily. But so where are you at on this journey?
Well, in fact, many of the women I spoke to kind of do yearn a little bit for that old-fashioned, for the man to take on that traditional male role in dating and in sex and in a relationship. But and I am one of those women who appreciate that.
Yeah.
However, I'm also independent, and the men I'm with love that about me.
Yeah.
They love the fact that I take care of myself. I have my own business, and I'm self-confident. All of those things.
Intimidated, maybe.
You know, the right man isn't.
Okay.
And that's the thing, is that we all have the right, you know, go as a cover for our pot. And that's the thing, is that it's okay to wait for it. And I say in the book, sometimes the first snow comes late in winter. Not this past winter. But sometimes love comes later in life. And you know what? I know he's worth waiting for. And that's the thing. I have no regrets, because regret is behind me and my love is in front of me.
Oh.
You talk about something interesting in this book, and I want you to explain it a little bit. And I mean, we're seeing celebrities everywhere with their pregnancies, and you know, who's wearing like fashion designer celebrity clothing. And anyway, we're talking about something that you describe as momopia.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, it's like this myopic view as the only woman.
Yeah, it's true.
Motherhood as womanhood. And yet there are no more mothers today than there were a generation ago. In fact, there were fewer mothers today because women are waiting longer, not necessarily waiting by choice, but having children later when they do. And yet we are obsessed with mothers in America. In fact, one actress, who will remain nameless, said, well, now that I'm pregnant for my second, now I'm really a mother. As if the first time wasn't enough. Like this whole thing that motherhood is so uber, you have to be extra mother. And those of us who are childless or child-free by choice can be made to feel less than. And Otherhood empowers women to know that they are not more than, less than. They are equal to women who are mothers, as women are equal to men. It's kind of like the next level. First we had to fight to be equal to men, and now childless women, we're equal to moms.
Yeah, that's lovely. Woohoo! Thank you so much for being here, Melanie. And I just wanted to let everyone know that Otherhood is available in bookstores now, and we'll be right back after the break.